Hi everyone, and thank you as always to all of the community members over at Open Media One channel on Telegram. This is just a short to medium video, and I'm going to have to put it on the raw more ones and not the positive ones, only because of the subjects that we're going to be discussing in this. And you know, from a positive aspect, hopefully it helps people to look at things a bit differently if they don't already do that. But as the title says, it's sense versus non-sense. So take us right back, right back. A popular one used to be that they, whoever they are, but they want to control the money and want to control the people. Now that seemed like a lot of sense. Sorry, control the people through the money. Now that seemed like a lot of sense, of course, at the time. But I always used to say to people, and I know a lot of people also said this, why would they need to control the money if they print the money? You know, they already control the money. So that doesn't make sense. And people would argue, they'd say, yeah, but, you know, it's created systems where people can go in and manipulate and do wrong and so on and so forth. And yes, that is true. That has happened, of course. But them doing anything or they doing anything to control the money, it's nonsense, because they already control the money, they own the money, they print the money, you know, they're behind many of the different cryptos and things like that. So you know, they already control that. So that's a nonsense statement that a lot of people thought was sense. What else have we got? The leaders are there for you, and the government is there to help you. Now, you know, it seems like a very sensible thing to say, or a sensible thing to want as a people or a humanity, but quite clearly, as we know, not just in this current climate and this nonsense that's going on at the moment, but throughout my whole life, you know, the governments and the leadership have never ever done anything good for humanity. They just don't, not unless it's got some backward way of benefiting them or benefiting their friends. And you know, I'm not just saying this on a, you know, not a willy-nilly kind of rant or rave. I'm being quite factual here. You only have to do an internet search and you can find many occasions, from, you know, as simple as scamming expenses right the way up to lying, accepting bribes, getting their friends involved with things for contracts. I mean, it goes on. You've got phone hacking scandals, you've got cover-ups, you've got pay for play. I mean, it literally goes on, and then right up to, you know, the war, the weapons of mass destruction war, which was obviously, as we now know, based on lies, and they tortured people to get the false confessions. So, you know, there's a nonsense fact that the government are there to help you and the leaders are there to help you, because their track record clearly states that they are not. What else do we have that's a bit of a nonsense, or it doesn't make sense statement? We'll talk about what's going on now a little bit with the, you know, the thing that can't be mentioned. Now, quite a strange one. I was speaking with Matt over at You Lying Dog-Faced Pony Soldier on Telegram earlier, and he was telling me, rightly so, that, you know, since Wimbledon, Silverstone and Wembley, literally it's ripped through there. It literally is ripped through there. The cases are up through most people who've been there. And I said to him, you know, it's quite strange, isn't it? Because you had to have a passport to get into these places. You had to have the shot, and, you know, most people had to have the shot. So it's quite interesting that, you know, the majority of people that have had a shot went to these events, and that's where all the cases are rising from. So that's kind of doesn't make sense when you think about it. Surely the people who had the shot would not be in rising case numbers, but there you go. You know, another nonsense thing that is happening right now. I mean, right at the start of this, they told us it was contagious, and, you know, it was spread everywhere, and people are saying, yeah, that's great because of social distancing and everything. It hasn't spread anywhere, and that's why we're keeping it all down and everything. Which, you know, it sounds like a lot of sense, doesn't it? That, you know, people have worn masks. Not everyone. A third of the world haven't worn masks. A third of the world at least haven't had the shot. But let's just say, for argument's sake, 2/3 of the world have worn the masks. They have done all that. And that is what's kept some of these cases down. They say, well, the contagion hasn't spread. How do you explain the many cases and many people that we all know of? And it goes into high numbers of people who have had it they tested positive in their household and nobody else in their household had it, or 2 members of a family have had it and the other 2 haven't. That's a bit of a strange one, isn't it, to think about, because if it's that contagious, then it would obviously, or you'd think it would go to everybody. And that's just not a one-off case there. That is a very, you know yourself, you are going to know people who in their household, they had it and other members didn't, for something that is the world's deadliest contagious thing ever. But they're saying that social distancing and masks help to contain it, but yet in people's households where they're not wearing masks and they're not social distancing, some people get it and some people don't. Strange. So whenever you're doing things, remember, whenever you're looking into things, remember, like, sometimes things do appear sense. It's all that sensible, you know, the ones that we've gone through here. But when you look into it, sometimes it's not, and sometimes it can actually be absolute nonsense, or it doesn't add up logically or mathematically or scientifically. So just a short to medium one here. It's only a 6-minute video. Thank you to everybody who sends in all their suggestions, the comments. Really appreciate all the community members again over at Open Media One. I remember sense versus nonsense, and a lot of it's logical. A lot of it is logical. You know, if it doesn't add up, it doesn't add up. It's that simple. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye.